Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Perceive 2021. Please give a warm welcome to our own Jeffrey Toffoli, a senior product marketing manager for Clarifai, who will be speaking about customer experience and quality in software 2.0. Welcome to our stage.
Thanks so much for the introduction, Ian. As Ian mentioned, I'm Jeff, and I am here with the product marketing team here at Clarifai. And I wanted to speak with you today a little bit about designing user experiences in software 2.0, so that you can give your customers an experience they'll like and that they'll feel as a high quality experience. This is not a trivial subject. Software 2.0 works very differently, and the intuition that you're going to need to develop around AI-based software is going to be a little different than what you might be used to in the software 1.0 world that we're all coming from. And the main point that I want to make, that I want to start out with here, is that software 2.0 is based on probabilities. And this is kind of funny. For years and years, we've been designing software, handwriting code in the most deterministic, most logical way possible. And it's not that probability is not logical, but in the software 1.0 world, we were writing things that were essentially if-then statements. If this happens, then that happens. And software 1.0 is the most wonderful series of if-then statements all the way down until you get to the hardware and the microprocessors. But software 2.0 is way more high level than that, and we get into this level of abstraction, this world of abstraction, where we're thinking in terms of probabilities. And it's important to stop and think about what this means when designing user experiences. What does it mean when you're going to set out to either improve existing products using AI, or create entirely new solutions based on AI? So let's dive into some examples. So here on the right, we have a view of what you're going to see within the Clarifai user interface. Clarifai is here to help you get your AI right, and all of our tools are based around that. We've got a visual display here of images. Of course, we work with images and videos and text and audio, but this is an example using images. And this is a really common scenario where you're going to want to be able to search by concepts, the concept of red sneakers, and search through a database looking for red sneakers so that you might recommend these products to your customers. This is all fine and good now, but as you take the outputs from the Clarifai's AI, you're going to get this wonderful list of well-matched products that are red sneakers. But this list of products, no matter how good you get your particular model, are based on probabilities. So there's always going to be some chance that it's not exactly what people are looking for. So if you're going to design a product recommender based on concepts, or you can even just do it based on visual search, just to make that point. I mean, with Clarifai, instead of writing red sneakers, you could actually just put the image of red sneakers, or a customer could take a picture of red sneakers and just search with the image, looking at other images. But either way, the result is going to be probabilistic. And so you're going to want to get that customer experience right, you're going to want to probably add some hedging language. And one great way to do that is common in search worldwide is to say something like, "We think you'll like." This tends to make sure that customers understand that it's it's your best guess at the end of the day. What else? So when designing software with AI, we're entering this whole new world, this whole new level of ability to learn from user behavior. And you should get this clear in your mind, get this right up front, I think. So we're going to be able to provide you with information that helps you personalize experiences for customers based on their actions over time. And this could be for individual customers, or this could be for sort of customers in general. Now we're here on the right-hand side. We've got pictures of people in a store. And this was based off of some work where customers are looking to redesign their planogram for the best results in their retail environment, right? So they're wanting to move the most product, and they were trying to get an understanding of how customers were interacting in their stores in a sort of in this whole new objective way. You can study enormous amounts of data. It's not just based on someone's sort of gut intuition. You're able with AI to personalize user experiences based on hard data. And so being able to leverage these unstructured data sources, starting to think differently about even what's possible is going to be key to your success here. So the image, the video that used to be only understandable by humans is now a real source of data that can be tabularized and put on a chart, and you can find where the optimal point is for solving a given problem. Next up, it's just super important when designing these kind of systems to make your customers understand what your solution can do. And again, let's take a look at this image on the right. This really common use case these days is customers who are trying to automate the maintenance of equipment and maintain quality on manufacturing lines. And you, as you're designing these systems for end users, what you're going to want to think about is the display, the dashboard, the information you're providing to these users. And keep in mind that each section of your dashboard, each concept in the dashboard is something that you can now train your model to recognize. And so you're going to want to really internalize this and think it through as you're designing your solutions. What is being tracked by your AI system? How are you defining the taxonomy for your model? So how are you defining that list of words, the vocabulary of words identified by your model? And so, what are your concepts? What predictions are you offering? It's really important to think this through when designing projects with Software 2.0 techniques. Another important thing to do is to convey the consequences of user actions. And many customers have approached us about various fraud detection systems that they're hoping to put in place. And one example being at an ATM, where you're able to not only verify a user with their PIN number, but also verify a user's face as sort of a two-factor authentication system. But you don't want to surprise anybody when you're doing this, and you want to be clear to customers what's going on, that you are using facial recognition and the implications of that. So thinking through the consequences of the actions. Again, remembering that this is a probabilistic system, there's a chance that even the best model is going to get it wrong. And so you're going to have to offer customers, next steps if there's an issue, or explain to them what the implications are if they, fail the two-factor authentication that you have in place. Another factor to keep in mind is updating and adapting these new tools cautiously. On the right-hand side, we've got a picture of delicious food. And this was based off of a project that we had done with a customer who was a large grocery chain. And they wanted to be able to basically let customers take a picture of what's in their fridge and then offer them recipes that would, based on the ingredients they already had. So as a way to recommend new products, they could take a picture of their fridge, they get offered a series of recipes and whatever ingredients might have been missing in their items, well, that sends them to the grocery store to fill in the blanks. And but the thing to keep in mind when implementing these kind of systems is limit the disruption. So if they were going to incorporate this into their full company app that offers other services, other support for their company and provides customers with additional information, they wouldn't want to completely take over the screen with their recipe recommendations. You want to still keep the customers within the context of the things that they're familiar with. So as you're offering these new AI recommendations, you want to still keep customers connected to other parts of the app, and that can be by keeping certain menus consistent. Perhaps like in the case of a grocery store, there'd be products that they have on sale and keeping those in some portion of the screen, while then offering the recipe recommendations in a separate window or in a separate view. AI. Now, this is certainly a sensitive topic, but one of the sort of actually exciting parts about AI is that it has this great potential to mitigate social bias. So it is true that models can and will be biased. Models are made out of the data that you give them. So when you then send the model out into the world, just by definition, to look at new data, it's not that it's still just seeing the world based on the data that it was trained on. So models are always biased. But the thing about AI models is that you can measure the bias in a way that is objective and quantifiable, and in a way that's never been possible before. So not only do these models have this sort of inherently they're useful for identifying their own internal bias. They can be then used to look at society, look at the work that you're doing, and models like our demographics model can give you real insights into your customers so that you can address other issues of bias in your organization that might have been a bit more difficult to put your finger on because it might have been based on guesswork and opinion. And with AI models, you'll be able to say, with 90% accuracy, we're seeing this sort of pattern. And so certainly one of the areas where AI is exciting is in its ability to help mitigate social biases. What else? So this is actually similar to the software 1.0 world. So you're going to want to notify users when you're making changes to their system. And this is done with sort of these classic tools of tooltips, callouts, pop-ups. So you do want you want to make these alerts so that users understand when updates and changes to the capabilities of your software are being added. And since AI can learn so much more quickly and can be iterated upon in ways that were challenging in the old software 1.0 world, this is a really important thing to figure into the design of your applications overall. And another really key element in AI is providing these same sort of call outs, the same sort of format, or providing at least some where users can go to click and get more information to give them a sense of why a system did what it did. So if you're offering predictions, let's say you've got a social media app and you're using AI to screen out bad content. But it's a probabilistic system. It's going to get 90% right, 10% wrong. So you're going to end up screening out some content that's just fine. And you don't want to offend anybody. And the way that you can avoid these sort of issues is by giving them a way to get an explanation for why something was rejected based on your AI system, explaining that for we use these visual recognition systems and we ran into this problem. For further information, contact us here. That sort of thing. All right. Another great thing that can be done with AI is that it can be used to remember customer interactions. And this is an area where Clarifai's got a really nice set of tools built around data sets. So you can take a snapshot of the data that was used to train a model. You can take a snapshot of the search results that you got when entering a given image into the system or entering a given concept and searching for images under that concept. And so these snapshots, these data sets can be used as a helpful tool for remembering recent interactions and sort of referencing data in a way that would have been relevant in a given context. It's also important and useful to provide global controls when it comes to designing these systems. And so what do we mean by that? Well, I think that it might be maybe a better way to think about it than global controls is sort of a hierarchy of information. So if you've got an app that you're using to research a specific topic, you're using our text classification app. I use this a lot myself in the marketing world, where I'm trying to go through large amounts of text and look for information about a given topic. It can be helpful to be able to start by saying, hey, I'm only looking for things that are related to finance before you then zero in on more specific topics that you might be researching. And so this can be done by using sort of higher level concepts and then more granular concepts around the specifics of what you're trying to learn about. So timing services based on context. This is one of the areas that's sort of really exciting that it certainly relates to all things software 2.0, but as now we are getting into this level of maturity in edge AI, and with Clarifai, we've got our Flare product, which you can see here has been used in searching for missing persons. You do want to be able to send alerts to controllers at appropriate times. So if you do have a drone going off into places that are difficult for people to reach and they see a potential signal for a person, you are going to want to be able to set up an alert of some kind so that you can get timely context-aware guidance for this project of rescuing this person. And then just to comment again on the nature of unstructured data and how powerful this is going to be in terms of context awareness. And this is something where I would encourage you as the end customer to really start developing a more intuitive sense of what's possible. You know your business, you know your domain better than we do. We do the AI business. And getting your insights into what your business needs is going to help derive all kinds of new data out of these unstructured data sources. So it used to be that, if you sent a drone off into the woods, you'd have to record the video or maybe stream the video back, and you'd have to have a person watching every frame of that video if you were going to hope to get information out of it. But in the world of Software 2.0, this becomes automatable, scalable. You can send as many drones out as you want, and it's just a question of how many deployments you want to do. So leveraging unstructured data is going to be able to provide all kinds of new context awareness, certainly in this use case, but also in the case of business and manufacturing and farming and many other cases. Another key to success in the world of Software 2.0 is that you're going to want your customers to actually provide granular feedback, and this is an area where Clarifai is particularly strong. So it's certainly something we would want to draw your attention to as new concepts come up, perhaps things that are not. Perhaps when you deployed your initial version of a model for a solution, you weren't thinking of a specific concept that was going to be important to making this whole project a success. Clarifai makes it incredibly easy to create new models and train them. With transfer training, you can train an employee within minutes with a very small amount of data in many cases. So getting that signal back from customers, you're going to be able to do something about it in a very efficient way. And in many cases, this is going to be just a vastly easier experience than projects in the Software 1.0 world. Making upgrades to a model is very quick. So you want to be able to capture this information from users in an efficient way. And with that, I hope this gets your wheels turning, gets you thinking about what's possible in the world of Software 2.0, and start thinking about how you would actually design the end solution for your industry. Again, we're here we're the specialists in the AI, but it's going to be you who knows where the needs are in your industry, and it's going to be you who's really plugging the AI capabilities into your overall solution. So certainly thinking about how to design the user experience so that it's good for everyone involved is going to be a key part of your success. But thank you so much for your time. Thanks for joining us, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey. It was a pleasure. A big round of applause from our virtual audience. We will see you at our next session.